saltiness isn't bliss, I've got a really tasty recipe to share with you. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Tonight I am making black Angus top round steaks, and I am pairing that with a orange lemon asparagus side dish. So let's get the flavors blended together. So in this bowl, I've got about a tablespoon's worth of melted unsalted butter. To that, I'm going to add some flavors in there, and those flavors are then going to get brushed with a silicone brush on top of our steak that we will then cook on the stovetop on a flat skillet. This is a non-stick skillet as well, so that kind of helps with the cooking process. So I've got my butter here. I'm going to add one garlic clove that I am going to mince directly into the bowl. Okay, so we've just added one minced garlic clove to our melted unsalted butter. Can't really see that just yet, but once we get it on the meat, you'll be able to see it better. To that, I'm going to add dried parsley. This, of course, will all be to taste. A little peek of that. And then I've got my rainbow peppercorn that I am going to crack in there. Again, to taste, or any pepper that you cook with and love. There's that. And then I'm just going to use my silicone brush here to just kind of blend and mix that. And if you've got any little chunks of butter that weren't completely melted, that brush will kind of help. See that a little bit better on the brush. That brush will kind of help to break that up and mix that in there as well. So our next step will be to set that aside. We're going to turn our burner that has our flat skillet on to medium high. We want to get that heating up so once the meat goes on, our skillet is heated through and ready to cook. Alright, so I can feel my skillet really getting warm here, so I am going to turn the burner down to medium because I've still got a little bit of time before my meat's going to go on there, and I don't want my meat to cook too quickly when it gets on there. So here is my meat out of the package. This is just under a pound's worth, and basically how you cut it up, how you slice it is all going to depend upon how small or how large you want your steaks to be. So the first step that I do is just kind of look for any little pieces of fat, which are not going to be red. They're going to be more on the white side. And I just kind of trim those off of there. If you want to leave them on to have that marble effect and allow that to cook with the steak, you can do that as well. I just prefer to trim them off, so once my steak is done and I'm eating it, I don't have to worry about any of those fatty pieces. So I usually get about 3 to 4 steaks out of one top round. That's about a pound's worth. So I am going to just kind of slice this where it's already kind of naturally cut there. So that looks like one good sized steak. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to put that aside. And then this other piece is quite large. So I think what I'm going to do here is just cut this right down the middle and make that into 2. So then I have a total of 3 steaks that I am preparing and cooking on my skillet. Alright, so there are my 3 black Angus top round steaks ready to be seasoned and go on the skillet. So again, we've got our butter mixture here, which I let sit a little too long and it's kind of thickened up. But the good news is I can give you a really good sneak peek because it got thick and it's not trying to pour out of the bowl as I dip it. So I'm just going to roll with it. It's thick, but that's good because maybe that will help it stay on my steaks a little longer as they cook on the skillet. So I am just going to brush that evenly all the way across the top, which you can see a little bit there, but I will lift this up when I'm done. Okay guys, so there is the underside. All right, well I really wish I had shown you the top of these when I first coated them because they were coated to perfection. Now the coating stuck to the plate a little bit, so they don't look as good, but isn't that the way life goes? All right, so we're gonna place them directly on our skillet. Hear that sizzle. I will show you those in just a moment. All right, guys, so my steaks have been cooking for a few minutes now. I'm gonna flip them over. Give you a sneak peek. Look at that nice browned edge on there. Take a look. So I am going to turn my burner down because now they're starting to cook really fast. Turn my burner down to medium-low. On to our side dish, our orange lemon asparagus. So we're going to start with a shallow pan that can go in the oven. We want to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And now we're going to mix our ingredients, then we'll add our asparagus in. So we're going to start with 1/3 cup of orange juice. 1/8 cup of lemon juice. And the messiest, stickiest part, 1/4 cup of honey. As we often do, we're going to use a mini whisk it all together, and then we will add our tasty asparagus in there. So, I will be right back. Alright, so as best I can, there it is, pre-mixed. And now you're going to take your whisk and just really work through that honey. Like I said in the salmon video, anytime you're mixing honey with anything, it's really going to fight you in the beginning because of how thick and sticky it is. But you'll know that it's starting to blend the easier it is to mix. So if you just keep with it, you'll start to feel that difference as you go along, that it starts to mix in. Plus you'll see less of it as well. Now we're going to put our tasty asparagus. I keep it in this cool green mason jar that I fill with water to keep it fresh in the fridge. So I'm going to take that all out of there. Still a little bit in there. So there's what that looks like. You can use as little or as much as you like, and you can cut it as long or short as you like. I cut the stalks about halfway. I just find that's kind of a good length to work with and cook with. So just kind of lay those in there as best you can. And then our very last ingredient is some salt-free lemon pepper that we just want to sprinkle right on top. And that's going to be to taste. So I probably put about 1 to 2 teaspoons worth. And then we're going to pop that directly into the oven, and that will cook anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes, probably about 15. Okay, saltiness isn't blisters. Here it is, piping hot, right out of the oven on the asparagus. And hot off the stovetop on the well done steaks, which I know are not for everyone. So let me get these on a plate now. All right. Steak, that, and a nice little clump of asparagus. There it is, guys. Is that making you hungry yet? Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.